Hi there. Today we are going to discuss about processing the request in Laravel. There are several ways to process the incoming request and access its attributes and properties. So let's begin with some examples so we can understand it well. So I have one controller, demo controller. There is nothing in it but a single action and it returns the index activated. Okay. And I have bind it through the basic root demo index. Okay, so if we access this path, sorry, then it returns that string. Okay, so in Laravel, there are there are three ways we can access the request the properties of incoming request. The first way is to via instance the request class in Laravel. So let's inject it, okay, like this, and you need to include it also like this. Okay, now let's diagram here. So if we print this object, it returns the request attribute, http request attribute object, sorry, and it has the several attributes like a session, method, form, headers. We can access all these properties with the help of its uh, methods. So let's access some properties like method, which method we are using in this request. So it will return. We are using get, so it must be get. Okay, it returns the get. There are several other methods, but I want to show you some other way to access this in incoming request properties. So it's the first method by a request object. The second method is by a facade. There is a request facade, okay, and we can access the same thing on this. But before this, we need to use the helper, the facade, sorry, and we need to remove this here. Okay. The same output we are getting. The third way is using the request helper. This is the most common way to access the request properties. We can call upon the method and it will return the same. Okay, so use any of these three methods uh, as per your choice. Okay, so let's execute some its method and properties and know and dig deeper this object. So there is a this method returns the method, uh, the http work for which we are using in this request, and if we test is method, post, then it must be returned the false. Okay, and if we change it to the get, then it returns the true. Okay, there is a path method which returns the URI. table index. Okay, and if we check any path, then we use is. So let's test it. Admin, it returns a false. Okay, it returns. And if we input the right one, and if we check, then it returns true. Okay, if we want the full URL, then we use the URL. Okay, and it returns the URL. It is not the full URL, because let's say we have a query string. Okay, then it's not included. The query string is not included in this response. But if you want the full actual full URL, then you can use the full URL method as well, like this. Okay, it returns the full. If we want only the query string, then we can use the query function, like this. Okay, it returns the array of queries which we have passed. Okay, and if you want to access the parameter directly, then there is a method input. So it returns the value of name, like Raj. If we have more parameter like age, and we want to return the all, then there is all method, like this. If we want only some parameter, not all, then there is a method only. Okay, so it will return the name only. There is a only also method except. It's reverse of the only, opposite of the only. Then except, it returns the age. Except the name, it will return all the parameter. Okay, whatever you have in your parameter list. If we check parameter exist or not, then we can use the has. It will return true, and if we change here name to, then it must return the false. Okay, there is a parameter, there is a method field. If the passed parameter has a value, it checks true and false. True, because name has a value. If we remove here the value of name, it returns the false. Okay, there's also one method is missing. Okay, if you want to use, it checks if parameter exists or not in this. Then it returns the false. It checks the value actually. No, it actually missing. Sorry, excuse me. Actually, missing returns if the past parameter is actually missing. So if I pass the parameter which doesn't exist, then it returns true. Okay, like name true, and if we access now, then it returns true. Okay, so there are several other methods we can use. So we can explore in the documentation. So okay, there is also one more thing. If we access any parameter to this object, like name is null now. Let's pass it. J. Okay. There is a default trim middleware working, uh, injected already in the Laravel. So if you pass the space with the parameter, it will it will get automatically trimmed. Okay, like this. Will not get any space. So you can check here, and there is a middleware trim strings. Okay, like this. So the next thing I want to discuss the file attributes. You will not get the file attributes with a normal request input. You need to have you need to access with the file method of this request objects. So let's understand it with the help of some example. I will use the base path basically. Okay, and because there is a welcome blade file, so let's I have a form in this template. I have a form, and it is a multi-part form data. If you want to post the file, okay, if you want to upload the file, you need to have this sync type. And in this I have a CSRF, one file attribute, and some normal form. Okay, and if we refresh it, then it is working. Okay, so let's close it. So if we die dump here, so let's use the request attribute. If this method post, okay, then let's die dump. Otherwise it will render the welcome blade. Let's change it to any take, can take, any get, post, delete kind of style viewer. There is no restriction with any. Okay, so let's now try it, and if you submit, okay, so it returns the object, and in this object we have a file attribute, and it has a file photo. Okay, because we have the named field photo, it returns the object with the photo name, and it has all the properties of this extension and original name, MIME type, etc. Okay, and you need to see this is the uploaded file object. You can't access this property directly. You have to use the function of this class only. So let's see it with the example. So in request file function, and we have named it the file, the input field photo here is. Then we have to use photo, and we need to use a uploaded file function. Let's get find original name. There is a function of this class uploaded file. Okay, it has a several function. You can use any of them. So this class has the get client original name, so we can get the original name of the uploaded file. If we refresh it now, it returns the file. Okay, you can use the other method as well. Get client original extension, get mime type. Let's use it. Okay, in this way you can access the file file parameter attributes, and there is a function also, move. To using this, we can upload the file as well in the intended directory. Okay. So in this way we can use the file attributes. Okay. Uh, the next thing is the if we can access the cookie with the request cookie. So let's implement something to demonstrate it. Demo controller. Okay, let's return the response with the cookie. Response with cookie, and there is a cookie helper function like we have used for the response and request, and we can set, let's use the facade like this. Okay, key and value. So let's name and value something special. Okay, and it will respond with the cookie. Let's redirect it to the base path, then we can access there actually. Okay, and let's pause. uh, Now if we access the index action of the remote controller, then it will redirect to the base path with the cookie. So here let's diagram cookie name. Okay, so in this way we can access the cookie which we have set here. So let's access the demo index path. Okay, editors, and if you inspect with the help of developer tool, it is here. Every cookie in the Laravel is signed and secured, encrypted. You can say encrypted and signed. The Laravel, so it validate the set string by, if we set if you set by Laravel, using Laravel. Okay, and if you change it something here, then it invalidate it. So in this way we can use the cookies with the Laravel. So that's all for the request processing. We can use the several methods, and we can use either of these ways, using the request stance or the facade or the request helper function to access the request object. Okay, thank you for joining us.